All right, guys, we're going to work on this soft wash skid. I want to say this right here, right now. If you are ever working on anything that's pressurized, or if you're dealing with sodium hypochlorite or surfactant or anything like that, please put your safety glasses on. I don't like these, but these are the only one I got now. Apex got both of my favorite pair of safety glasses with him in his red Ford F-150. So if y'all see him around, pull him over and get my safety glasses back. Hey guys, I wanted to mention right here before we hop into this video, if you're looking for my resource page, the link will be in the description. Also, I will pin a comment. It'll be the first comment. You can go click on that link in there. Also, you can click on the link in the description, bring you to our resource page. Right now, I'm very pleased to announce they have dropped the prices on a lot of our training videos drastically. So if there's something you've been wanting to get, go check that out really quick before the prices go back up soon. And I hope to see you there. So this is a soft wash skid. We know what it's all about. We know it's designed to clean shingle roofs, soft wash buildings. It keeps you from having to put pressure on it. Now, some guys ask me, does this replace a pressure washer? And the answer is no, it does not, unfortunately. But guess what? Good news is you can mount one right there, baby. That's a whole nother little spot. This is the mini skid. This is some other stuff I got in the back of the truck. Don't pay attention to that. My truck's always messy. But that little spot right there will mount, I believe, a four gallon per minute machine. Now, obviously, you're going to have to feed it off of a water hose, but it'll be real simple. It'll be skid mounted. You can probably get electric start, blah, blah, blah. You know, I mean, you have that. So, no, this does not replace a pressure washer. But what it does replaces you going to jail or your insurance getting slammed with some huge cost for you having to repaint a building, because you don't need to be pressure washing anything that is anything other than concrete. You know, it's concrete, things like that. Brick handle a little bit of pressure, but all it is vinyl siding, stucco, especially your roof, shingles, metal roof, any type, tile roof, any type of roof that you are attempting to clean it, you shall not put pressure on that roof. Now, this puts out shower head pressure only. I tell guys all the time, you know, when you're putting out too much pressure, if you don't want to put your face in front of that stream of water, then you probably got too much pressure. Hate to be blunt about it, but seriously, guys, if it hurts your hand, don't spray the wall with it. It's too much. So that's where this comes in. We can apply a very strong sodium hypochlorite solution. Sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes you should not apply too strong of a sodium hypochlorite solution. But this rig allows us to bring our sodium hypochlorite solution way, way high. We're going to go over that with some mixing valves. I also want to say this real quick. You cannot, under any circumstances, clean a roof shingle tile with a surface cleaner. I'm going to repeat that. You cannot put a surface cleaner on a roof. I'm not going to name any names, but I had a guy reach out to me. He was trying to downstream a roof, and it wouldn't come clean. So he elected, in his infinite wisdom, to get up there with his surface cleaner and go to town on it, and sent me a video of it. And I was just totally it was like, is this a joke? So we got him stopped, and he finished the rest with another method, but there's no telling how many years of life he took off of that shingle. And guys, that's what I'm saying. This thing's going to keep you out of trouble. Now, these are your mixer valves. This is the heart of the system right here. Of course, every component on this system is very important. That one's water, that one's sodium hypochlorite, and that's surfactant. So what does all of this mean? And how do I adjust these? And how do I adjust these three knobs for optimum performance? So let's say we're cleaning a shingle roof. This is a big request. How do they adjust these mixer valves? Well, obviously your water's always going to be wide open. That is completely closed. It's a 180 valve. This is a GF valve. It is a mixing valve, so it's not a ball valve. So don't get those confused. Ball valves will not mix with a ratio. And looked at it. So that's off. That's barely open. That's about half open. That's about 75%, and that's 100% open. Now, these mixer valves will allow you to do that. If you have a ball valve, at some point in here, it's going to be 100% open. It's basically either off or open with a ball valve, so not a mixer valve. So anyway, our water is 100% open. Our surfactant for a roof cleaning, usually I just kind of put it horizontal. You know, obviously it's from 12 to 6 here, and I just go like 9 to 3. I mean, you could open this all the way up. You know, if you're doing a metal roof, that's fine too. The only thing you're gonna need a bunch of this around. You know, this stuff actually smells good, man. This pink stuff, I mean the red stuff, it's like a cherry smell or whatever. So you'll use a little more soap and lose a little more soap if this is wide open, but that's very, very rare. I crank mine wide open. So for a shingle roof cleaner, I usually keep it about right there. If I'm doing a house wash, that's all the way off. I'll probably put it maybe right at, let's say that's 6 o'clock off. I'll put it maybe about 5 o'clock, you know, something like that for a house wash, depending on what I'm. You could play with it too, you know. This is not a do or die situation. You know, you might waste a little bit of sodium hypochlorite as a factor, but you can play with that. Now this is the beast right here. This is your SH valve. So that is completely off there, and that would be completely open. So here you would have your sodium hypochlorite all the way open. You would have your water all the way open. And let's say you're doing a really, really steep shingle roof. You might want to crack that thing, let's say all the way open. I mean, that makes it simple. You're making a ton of money. So what happens, you got to buy an extra gallon for whatever, 15, 20, 30 bucks, whatever it is. It doesn't matter if you're cleaning shingles. So these would all be open. This would clean a shingle roof all day long. If you're doing a really heavy shingle roof that's like really heavily soiled, you're gonna have to hit it twice. I've never done a roof where it was only once and done. I always had to go back and hit a few hot spots here and there, just kind of make it touch up, make sure I got it cleared up perfectly. So that would be your shingle roof cleaning. Now I'm going to show y'all an advanced setting with these knobs here towards the end of the video, so please stay with it. So water all the way open, sodium hypochlorite all the way open, and your surfactant all the way open if you want, or you can cut it down halfway, either way. And I'm sure Cody has went over this a zillion times as well, but you know, we do have new people to the channel, so we want to kind of bring them into the loop so we can speak the same language. If you ever have a question and need some help on something, if someone calls me and they don't know anything about pressure washing or soft washing, I urge them to go watch a few videos, get an understanding of it, and then let's talk again, because it's like we're speaking two different languages if you haven't watched any of the videos. So again, water's all the way open, sodium hypochlorite's all the way open, and your soap, you can play with that. Now that's a roof cleaning setup right there, that position. Now to back up a little bit, not to get ahead of ourselves, again, I'm going to have sodium hypochlorite in this tank and water in the other tank and surfactant in here. And you can go back and watch the skid review we did. We went over how to mix this and to get you up and running. So now, second thing that's important about this, make sure these tanks always have liquid in it. If not, this is not going to work. Your little pump is designed to compress water in sodium hypochlorite, not air. So if it doesn't have liquid in it, it's not going to release, hit the pressure release on it. The pump's going to stay running and it's never going to cut off, and you're not going to spray anything. So you got to have all liquid in the tanks. Now, that being said, when you start to purge the system and get it ready, you may hear a little air coming out your wand, but that's just temporary. It takes a few, let's say if I adjust all this out, I grab my wand and I head towards the roof up there, and I got water in the system now because I flushed it out. It's going to take a good minute or two, sometimes 2 minutes, to get it all through this coil of hose, down 200 feet of hose, and then out my wand to make contact. So usually what I do there, I just kind of like be spraying something like in the gutter or off in the rocks or somewhere. And when I start seeing that sodium hypochlorite mixed with that soap coming out, you're going to smell it and you're going to see it. Then you know you're ready to rock and roll. So believe this or not, when we first got this thing, Apex jumped on a roof and he did a whole section with plain water. And before I knew it, I was like, hey, you just sprayed your shingles with water. Congratulations. So wait until you see those suds coming out and you're good to go. That is the one reason why we always flush it out afterwards. You know, the system lasts longer, but also you're not confused when you're getting it. You will see you'll have plain water coming out, and then when the soap suds hit, you will know for sure you're ready to rock and roll. So again, that's a roof setting. A metal roof setting, we're going to go over the metal roof setting at the end because that's a little bit more advanced, and I don't want to try to confuse you. So let's say we're going to do a house wash, vinyl siding, stucco, that sort of thing. You can do whatever you want with your surfactant. I mean, that's completely off. You can kind of maybe put it at 5 o'clock position, maybe even go to 3. I don't think there's any need to be wide open with it. So I just keep it kind of about right there. Now your water is going to stay wide open. Now your sodium hypochlorite, we don't need this type of hot mix. This setting right here with both of them wide open, if everything's set up right, you pull in 50% from the water, which is on that side, and you pull in 50% of sodium hypochlorite. Now that somebody's gonna say, well, that gives you 6%, give or take, because we don't know exactly what strength that our sodium hypochlorite is. We get it, it's supposed to be 12.5. You know, we travel down the road, it gets cold at night, it gets hot in the daytime. I always kind of count this at 10. And that's just me. Y'all might want to leave a comment and say I'm an idiot, but I've always counted my SH at 10. It just seems to calculate any, better. Now, in the summertime, I do my calculations at 12 because usually it is a little hotter than 12 usually. When we say hotter, we mean stronger. So 12.5 in July, you might actually be getting 15 in this tank versus 10 in the wintertime. So hopefully that makes sense. So I calculate that as about 10% in the wintertime. So that would give me maybe, between 5 and 6% with both these valves open. Okay, so I hope we're following that. Now we're going to do a house wash, cut our sodium hypochlorite all the way off. It goes all the way to the righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So remember that. If you go to the right, it turns it off, and to the left, it opens it up. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, I got my valve all the way closed to the right. Now I know opening it wide open is going to give me somewhere between 5 and 6%. And let's say I go halfway, we can kind of calculate that, maybe at 2.5 or 3%. This would be a bit strong for vinyl siding. I'm not saying you can't do some vinyl siding with 2.5, 3%. Usually I don't. That would kind of be more of a stucco, maybe a bunch of other stones and stuff like that you can do at 2.5, 3%. Where I kind of like my house wash for vinyl siding, stuff that's not too terribly dirty, I kind of open it up, but halfway between it being completely closed and in the halfway mark. So that would be your halfway mark. That would be completely closed, and I kind of just find a happy medium in there. And with experience, you'll be able to smell your SH coming out of your wand to kind of know where you're strong. At this point, I'm kind of at about that 1.5, 1.25, 1.50, maybe even a 1.75. And at this rate, you're pretty safe. You're not going to, remove paint. You can kill some plants, so still pretty wet. You're not going to cause a disaster with this. Still got to be careful. Still need to cover your outlets. All the plant and property protection we always talk about. But those settings right there is about where I do my house wash. So pre-treating concrete is another big question. Where do I want to pre-treat my concrete? Now that's up to you. But I usually kind of run mine between that 2.5 to 3%. If it's really, really bad, sometimes I'll just get it on up there, maybe a little bit stronger. And I mean, if you got plenty of bleach to spare, you could just open it all the way up. But that's sometimes mostly not necessary, especially if you're going to do your surface clean. So between halfway and maybe a notch above halfway. Again, we still leaving our water all the way open, and our surfactant, you don't need a lot of surfactant to pre-treat concrete, so you can just go shut that off completely if you want. Post-treatment, same thing. You want to close the surfactant all the way. Reason being, because it rains one time, their driveway is going to suds up, look like a bubble bath, and they're going to call you and send you pictures and wonder what the heck's going on. And the surfactant is really not helping. Surfactant is really there to kind of decrease the drying time for you, so pre-treating is not going to be that bad. And also it helps it stick to things that are in vertical position. So obviously a driveway's flat, unless it's some type of extremely steep driveway, you shouldn't need any surfactant. And then this would be about your normal set, about that halfway mark, maybe even a little more. And then, of course, you're leaving your water all the way on. Another big thing that guys clean a lot with a soft wash skid is a metal building. This would pretty much be your settings for a metal building as well. Water all the way open, surfactant about half, and then your sodium hypochlorite about half. That's generally where I run my metal building, if you want to take a screenshot of that as well. And a couple other things. Glass with a bunch of mildew on it. You want to pre-wet that glass, but you can kind of run it around this, maybe even a little bit less. Like glass buildings got the frames are heavily mildewed, you can pre-treat with this. Now I always talk about pre-wetting glass if it's hot, so you may want to go back and look at some of those videos on the channel. You don't want to spray any sodium hypochlorite or surfactant on glass that is hot to the touch. So like the old days, you would put the baby's milk on your wrist. If you can feel the heat, that means it's too hot for the baby's mouth. Same thing with that glass. If you touch it and you feel, you know, like if this glass was, sun was shining on, I'd touch that glass, and if I could feel heat radiating from it, I should not put sodium hypochlorite on that glass. I need to cool it off with fresh water, with a water hose, your pressure washer, however you want to do it. But do not put sodium hypochlorite on glass that you can feel temperature coming from it. And if you do, you'd better call a good person with glass cleaning capabilities, because they could be out there for a long time trying to clean it off, and it is if they get lucky. So glass buildings, I go a little bit less than half. We got a lot of those glass buildings here around Louisiana with the thick glass frames, and you know, you have to hit it. Sometimes you got to hit it with scrub brush because you don't want to put it too hot on there. But make sure you charge enough for glass buildings. I mean, my price goes way up when a glass building is there, so I know I'm only be able to do about half the amount of square footage per day if it was metal or brick or something like that. So that price is double. One other thing that I want to talk about, the advanced settings on this. Now, I can't be responsible for you jacking somebody's place up, but I'm gonna show you what I do sometimes. Now, I sometimes do this on a metal roof. I have my surfactant with start over here about half open, or even sometimes completely wide open. But as we all know, a metal roof has no coarseness to it, no texture. So everything that you spray on it runs off of it like a water slide. So what you do spray up there has got to count. So what I usually do, have my surfactant all the way open here at the bottom. Again, that's going to give us between that 5 and 6%. Now, this is the dangerous part, and don't try this at home if you don't know what you're doing, because you can hurt yourself, hurt others around you, and pull paint off the walls and kill grass for miles around. I don't know what it would do, but I choke my water down about halfway. And you can leave a comment in the box if you want to call me dummy for doing it, but man, it works. So I got my sodium hypochlorite wide open, got my surfactant about halfway, and I got my water choked down. So with this configuration, I'm going above that 6%, that 5 or 6%, and I'm probably achieving a 7 or 8%. Usually we get extreme good results with metal roofs like this. Now, that's, you know, the white ones, the yellow ones, the red, what, you know, that galva aluminum stuff, that's not recommended for that. But your painted metal roofs, this is for on contact, it kills the mildew. No questions asked. It's done and over with before you can before you know what happened. So I choked that water down. Again, that achieves me to about that 8% sodium hypochlorite. And one time, don't tell nobody I told you this, but one time I turned my water completely off. My sodium hypochlorite was completely wide open, so I was pulling whatever I had in the tank, about 10 or 12% out the wand. Had my surfactant barely cracked, and I sprayed some of that heavy, thick moss with it. They had a patch of it on the roof, and that stuff curled up and jumped off that roof like it was scared to death. So, but just know, when you start choking this water down, this is dangerous stuff to do, and you better know what you're doing. It's, you know, but it's a tool to have in that toolbox in case the crap hits the fan and you need it. So guys, again, I hope this video helps. Like I said, I get a lot of requests for this. How do we turn our mixer valves And I know we've all talked about it on our channels, whether it was me, Cody, Aaron, and a bunch of other guys have went over this over and over again, but some of the new guys just have not seen it, so we hope this helps. Again, check out those links in the description. I think you'll be really happy what you'll find there. Please like, subscribe, and comment below. Again, I'm Billy Davidson here with Davidson Pressure Wash and Painting, hoping to see you in the next video.